play the game.
This episode of Cardiff City World is brought to you by Coral, the proud sponsor of the TalkSport Fan Network, and we're here for it. For the retro shirters wearing the classic blue and white, or even the old school blue with a white and yellow stripe worn by true club legends, the statos who care more about XG, chances created and expected assists, or the games gone merchants who prefer muddy pitches and proper tackles over back passes and coloured boots, refs with personality over VAR. As well as the reward shaker that everyone's talking about, Coral are also giving away £30 in free bets when you open an account, deposit and place a qualifying £5 bet for all new customers. Whether you're a retro shirter, a stato or a games gone merchant, we are here for it. 18 plus, new customers, minimum first £5 bet within 14 days of account registration, selected markets, valid 7 days, stakes not returned, no cash out, reward restrictions, requirements and other T's and C's apply. For more information on safer gambling, visit Gamble Aware.
Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Cardiff City World. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the post-match show for Cardiff City 3, Swindon Town 0. First competitive game of the season. We're off, and there's some goods, there's some bads, and everything you'd expect from effectively a glamorised pre-season friendly. But I am joined by none other than superstar Matthew Angel. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, but and it was 3-2, not 3-0.
I said 3-2.
Yeah, you said 3-0.
Wishful thinking.
No, it's good, but yeah, good day out. Weren't perfect. Don't think it's ever going to be because Swindon come there and we're their cup final, really, and that's no disrespect to Swindon because I thought they played really well, and I said to I think I said to the boys in the stadium that, you know, if I was a Swindon fan, I'd been quite happy with the performance they put in today. In fairness, they didn't let themselves down at all. They put up a good test for us.
Yeah, they got stuck in, didn't they? And they tried to press us and stuff. And it just reminded me, especially early on in the game, first sort of 15, 20 minutes, reminded me of very much of like a pre-season game. Like we were tidy enough on the ball, but they just were pressing and a bit more up for it. As the game sort of went, we grew into it a little bit, and we'll get into some bits and pieces around there. Like there's bits which I'm really excited about. Like I'm really excited to see like Kean Ashford and Alex Robertson and Jack Moylan and Ruben kind of all playing around Yusuf Salech, because they all want to play. All of those players want to play off one touch, and I think that will benefit us. You saw it a little bit when Jack Moylan come on. But I think if we can get that number 6 in and get Alex a bit further up the pitch, I think Kean's going to end up going out to the right, just because when you've got Jack Moylan and you've got Ruben, I think it's going to be difficult for him to get minutes, even though I think since he's been in the 10 in pre-season, I think he's been our best player by quite a distance as well. He's so intelligent, but it is what it is, isn't it? Like, there's a lot of competition in that spot.
Yeah, there's definitely, and I thought Alex Robertson was outstanding today, to be fair. You know, I'd like him in that 6th position, and obviously with Jack Moylan coming in now, you know, is he really busting to have a 6 there? No, obviously if anything happened to Alex, we're struggling, and I do think Alex is obviously better in that 8th position, you know, further up the pitch. I think he gives us much more options, but obviously having Jack Moylan in the squad as well now, I think we've seen some of the glimpses of some of the things he can do. And obviously, the goal he scored today, I thought Yusuf Salech obviously held that up brilliant for him. And you've got to give credit to Jack Moylan, because when I watched the goal back, he was on the semicircle of our box and he bust a gut to get up here to support and be in a place to have, obviously, an opportunity to put the ball in the back of the net. So fair play to him. And I know it was his first game, but his work ethic, you know, lunging at balls towards the end as well, putting his body on the line, I just, you know, sets us in good stead. I think that's the debut us fans wanted to see. You can see that he's fighting for the cause already, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think as well, like one of the things I was a little bit concerned about tactically before the game was like Lincoln don't really press; they kind of sit in and try and hit you on a break. So I wasn't sure if it would take him a little bit of time to get used to like the pressing and the work off the ball that Brian Barry Murphy expects. But I thought he did it, like you said, he did it really well, and he did well. Like I thought, look, we've got massive defensive issues. Will Fish is out for 3 months. Callum Chambers is out for a couple of months. Dylan Lawler's out for God knows, and that's 3 centre backs. Like, and it's mad because if you've gone into the season with all of them fit, you're talking about, God, we've got 4 good centre backs, and now all of a sudden we've got 1. I don't fancy Perry as a centre back. I thought he did all right. Like, he did, well enough. I think Ronan looks a bit lacking in confidence. Although I felt sorry for him in the second half because 2 or 3 times he gave absolute hospital balls by his teammates, and then he's the one who's got to try and deal with it while he's being pressed, and then he kind of broke down off the back of that. But he's the one that gets the groan and the moan, which I'm sure doesn't do much for his confidence. But he also did some good stuff, Ronan did as well. And I think people...
He gave the ball away a couple of times and he kind of passing it back into midfield and there was no one there, specifically first half. There's lots of people calling for him. He needs to go out on loan, this, that and the other. And if I'm honest, I probably think he could probably do with a loan away, playing 40-odd games at a decent standard. But one thing I wanted to mention to you, and I don't know if you picked it up today or if it's me just barking up the wrong tree, but I don't think he got much help from Tanner in front of him.
Tanner, the first hour, not at all. Like, I think
he just doesn't seem at the races. It really... you could see the difference when Keane Ashford got pushed back out there. As much as I liked Ashford in that 10 position, you could see the difference in the energy levels on that right wing when Keane Ashford went there. But yeah, you could see Tanner. He was shaking I seen him shake his head when the first lot of subs went and Willock come on, I think it was. I think he expected to go off because he was blowing out of his arse. And you could see him shake his head as to say, why haven't I gone off type of thing. So it's just, and his body language, he just walks, I don't know, just looks as if he don't want to be there.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I thought he did all right the other day. And I thought actually in the first half, some of the ball, he put some good crosses in again, which is something that he always gets criticised for, is his final ball. And I think he put 2 or 3 sort of good balls in, looking for people which are dangerous.
Again, his early doors in the season, and perhaps I'm reading too much into it and expecting him to be at the, which in theory, he's a professional player. He should be. He should probably, right at the start of the season now, he should be as fit as you're going to be. But I don't know. And that's the great thing about football, isn't it? We've all got different of opinions. We know how good he is. There was an opportunity where he cut in off the right today and he should have, I think he tried to play through to somebody else, but I'm just shouting, put your laces through it.
Yeah, 100%.
It'll come.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll come. He's one of those, and I think he is one of those players who takes a bit of time to get going in pre-season. But yeah, I think hopefully he'll be all right. If not, like, mate, I know Keane's done really well in the 10. I actually really like him on the right, particularly when Ronan has played early last year and Keane played on the right. They did do really well together. So, and I wonder whether that will help Ronan. If Ronan's going to have to play because Perry's in the centre-back, I wonder if that might help him to have either Isaac or Keane in front of him, people who he's grown up with, who he knows exactly where they're going to be, what they're going to do. They're going to help him out. And I'm not saying Tanner won't, because I think Tanner's work rate has improved, but he doesn't quite look up to speed, I would say. But I still think he looks dangerous when you get him the ball, and he had a couple of nice touches in the first half. I thought Willock looked sharp when he came on, which is encouraging because I think he's looked pretty good all the way through pre-season as well.
Yeah, he's another one who had a decent pre-season. As you mentioned, obviously, Keane Ashford's had a good pre-season. Gabriel Osho again. I know, obviously, he had that own goal today, which, it tried to stop it, but obviously went in the back of the net.
Nothing he could do about that, though, is it? Just hits him.
No.
Do you know what, though, mate, right? Let's, obviously, Fish and Chambers are out for a bit. Dylan, it doesn't look like he's going to be playing anytime soon. For me, I wonder, there was a left back that we were looking at right at the start of the window. I just wonder whether they go back and revisit that deal, see if they can get it done quickly, stick him in the left back, and then put Joe Bagan in centre back for the short term until we can get it. We're going to have to sign a centre back, mate, which is mental considering where we were, a couple of weeks ago. Like, centre back was almost like a luxury signing if someone left or if we really, really wanted to. But now I think we cannot not sign a centre back, which is going to have an effect on some of the other signings, depending on what the budget is and stuff like that. If maybe you can get like a centre back on loan till January or something, but I think that's difficult. But I do think they've got to get a centre back in there. I don't think there's a way around it, because as talented as that young lad is, Noah, I can't always forget his surname.
Anadike or something like that. Excuse the pronunciations, but
he's a child, like, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I mean it in a literal way. Like, he is a literal child. He doesn't look little old, does he? Looks like he's 25. But mate, can you imagine the pressure for him if BBM just went, right, you and Gabe Osho, Wrexham home, first game back in the Championship? Like, that could make or break a kid like that. A centre back, like, you can kind of hide a youngster on the wing, can you, and just ask him to work hard and don't give him too much tactical instructions. Like centre half up against, I don't know if he even still plays for Wrexham, but like someone like Kiefer Moore, like a Championship campaigner, up against a kid is brutal. Like, and he could come in, he could go and have like a blinder, and suddenly that's the making of him. But it could also be a difficult night, and it can be the sort of breaking of him in his confidence. So you have to be very, very careful with these young boys. Like, I really do think, no matter how talented they are, you've got to protect them as well. But we don't have any centre backs. Ronan looks a bit devoid of confidence. I think we missed Perry NG today. The one sort of bit where we looked a bit susceptible was when we lost the ball sort of around halfway or just inside the opponent's half. And then Alex was a bit exposed then because he didn't have anyone with him, which is fine. Because I thought he showed again today that he can play as like a single pivot, as like just a six on his own. He did it really well. But one of the biggest benefits for him doing that is if either Joel Bagan or Perry NG kind of tuck in. And because Perry's in central defence, we didn't have that. So I do think we miss him a little bit at right back. And he's been very good. So manager's got some work to do, mate, to be honest, because defensively I thought we looked a bit worrying. Attacking, I thought we looked pretty good. Like in midfield, I thought we looked all right. I thought some of the build-up was good, but there was some concerning sides through the defending. Like, maybe it's just pre-season as well, though. Like, just...
Yeah, and I know it's obviously the first round of the Carabao Cup or whatever it's called.
Try and get a loan in, I think, before the Wrexham game. Maybe Perry looks like Perry NG will play there, and I suppose they do have the option. There's a couple of youngsters they could play at left back, or they could move Ronan or Perry over to the left and play. I would play Joe Bagan in centre back. I think he's really composed. There's a big benefit to having a left-footed centre back as well, but. He
done well. He have done well in the games that he have played there for us, hasn't he?
Yeah,
he has played there in the past.
Yeah, and I think. And by the way, I didn't think Perry NG was dreadful as centre back. I think we miss him too much on the right, and I think whereas on the left, Jack Thomas has done all right at left back. Paul Marino's done all right at left back. Ollie Tanner's played left back as well. If you didn't want to chuck a kid in there, like you could put Ollie Tanner.
I'd rather chuck a kid in there, I think.
Yeah, but he did all right at left back when he played there before. Like Joel Colwell's played full back as well, so you could play Joel at right back and shift Perry over to the left, or like I just mean, you got to find the most secure centre back pairing, I guess, isn't it? And I think Joel Bagan would give you a bit of composure, as well as being left-footed, and then you can have the benefits of Perry at full-back. But, like the Northern Ireland game at the end of the season when we didn't have any centre-backs and Dylan played, he played with some some painkillers and stuff like that, injections or whatever you want to say. So, like, there was definitely some in there. I just wonder whether Because it sounds to me, from some of the stuff BBM has said, that Dylan has been training, but is still feeling it. So I don't know whether perhaps you can, maybe Dylan suddenly comes in, like. But
a lot of people complaining about the feed is buffering a lot and freezing, I think. So it must be a StreamYard thing, is it?
Yeah,
Seems all right when we're on live.
StreamYard signal says it's on 4 bars, mate. So I don't know. I can't. There's not much I can do. But I'll check it now. I'll tell you what, mate. Who I thought was really good. Let's talk about Kean Ashford, because we've talked about before how he's not. He's not a winger, and he's been forced onto the wing, and forced on the wing is probably a bit heavy, but he's played on the wing because he's a youngster. He's all his career he's played as a 10, and then he's looked good. Like, he's looked really good at it, and I think he looks so clever. And his link-up play, that ball for Salech's second goal was phenomenal. Like, that's such a difficult skill to get the pace and the accuracy on it with the outside of your right foot and get it in exactly where you want to. It was just sort of bent around the defender.
Or slightly behind him on it. So fair play. It was a good. It was a good ball and just as good finish. But he's been outstanding. And I loved his post-match press conference. And the question was asked, where would he rather play? Would he rather play as a 10 or a winger? And his typical answer really, he said, I don't mind where I play. I just want to be out on the pitch. Which, I get that, but I do like it when players are honest and say, I want to play 10. That's my position. But again, I think, obviously Josh is playing under 12s this year. And at that age, it's all about players should be able to play in different positions. If people are injured, this, that, and the other. And I think it, is a great example to younger kids that we've got players playing at that level who are able to play in multiple positions. I think, kids at 12, 13, 14 can throw their toys out of their pram if they're not playing in their ideal first choice position. But, needs must sometimes. And I love that about Kean, he lost balls today and you can see him busting his balls to get back to try and win that ball back. And I just loved his work ethic today. But, he's got so much more about him playing in the middle there, and he's much more beneficial to us there, I think. Yeah, but he can do a job on the right for us as well.
It just looks natural to him, doesn't it? He wants to just have these little combinations and give and goes. I think the thing for me is, for all the talk of signings, you look at it and you look at, I thought Isaac did all right today. He didn't. A couple of times Isaac was through and they didn't give him the ball in the first half. They just didn't see it. But I thought he looked all right. I thought Willock looked sharp. I thought Ashford looked sharp. And, you got Jack Moylan, we'll talk about in a minute. But you've got Ruben, you've got Jack Moylan, you've got Kean Ashford. You've got Salech is looking sharp. Then you've got, Joel Colwell and Alex Robertson and even David Turnbull. For all the criticism he gets, I thought he did a lot of good today. Don't get me wrong. There's some elements of his game, I think, struggle a bit in the way we play, but I thought he did a lot of good as well in some of his runs and some of his passing and stuff, and he just sort of tidied up a little bit. But we have got quite a lot of strength in those attacking positions around Salech. I think Jack Moylan will get better, and you could see straight away, he is a real footballer. He has it. The thing I like about him is he had an impact on the game straight away, passing and moving and. You mentioned his work rate, but every time he got the ball, he was looking for either a quick little pass, and if the quick pass wasn't on, he would just carry it. And I really, really enjoy that. And I am salivating, mate, at the thought of him, Ruben, Kean Ashford, Alex Robertson in the same team, because if they start pinging it around, teams will struggle to control that. We might have to go just one defender, one midfielder, 6 number 10s, a couple of wingers, and we'll be fine. We won't bother with defenders. We'll just score more than the others. But
talking about how good Ashford was there today, and obviously the next game now is obviously a week Monday, the 17th against Wrexham. After today's performance, do you think he's going to start Ashford in that 10, or are you concerned on how Tanner did play today and have Ashford on the right and perhaps Moylan in that 10 position?
I think.
Bearing in mind, we don't bring anybody else in. If we didn't bring anybody else in,
so there's one reason why I think he might keep Jack Moylan on the bench for the Wrexham game, and it's really his last year for Lincoln. Jack Moylan scored quite a few goals and got assists and stuff off the bench. Like when he was on the bench, he did really well, and I think having a player, and you saw it today, who can just come on and is ready and can influence games, I think that's a really big thing. Now, if I was picking the 11, I'm probably going with Keane on the right and Moylan and the 10. Although, I'm not adverse to putting Isaac Davis on the right and Willock on the left, because the one thing I like about Isaac is his main thought is just run at the defender or run in behind. And I think if you can get him in behind or get him running at a defender and he's on the right, he can then just whip the ball in because he's on his natural foot. So, I don't hate that either.
No, and that added pace for me as well, isn't it? Is it's a massive factor for us. I think that's a great shout, really, putting Isaac on the right, because I think we can probably. You shouldn't put two and two together, because sometimes you'll come up with 5. But I would imagine Ruben's not going to be available for Wrexham.
No,
Dylan Lawler's not going to be available for Wrexham. I'd be very surprised. So, yeah, Isaac Davis on the right and Willock on the left.
But then, here's the thing, right? If I'm Brian Barry Murphy and Lee Riley and that, right? If I think the Ollie Tanner thing is a fitness thing, where he's just not up to speed, like he's not quite match fit, and he's doing the right things, he's just not quite there yet, then I probably would start him, because by and large he creates chances for us, and I think give him an hour and then you can switch it about and give someone else a go. I wouldn't be in a rush to drop him, like just based on today or whatever, because the last game against Roma, he was outstanding. The game before that, people were giving him loads of grief when he came on against Forest Green. So, I just think he's one of them which he stands out a little bit. So I just think, I don't know, mate. For me, I wouldn't be in a rush to drop him. But also, I think it should be based on the best 11 for that week. And if he's not in the best 11 for that week, then so be it.
You are, Joan, struggling to hear you as well. I thought there was an issue with my sound, but perhaps it might be you. Sorry, been problems with your sound for a while. Tonight, Matt is loud, but I'm struggling to hear you. You've had a pint this afternoon, mind, Joan, so you might be struggling because of that.
No, yesterday, my mic just wasn't working yesterday for the first 5 minutes of the show. Right, I've just turned it up, and I'll see what's what. But
yeah, I'm obviously closer to my mic as well, so that might be
my mic's right by you. Just right by. It's not that. It's just literally I don't know. I don't know if it's.
But that's got louder. You moved it closer.
No, I just turned it up on my. Just turned the automatic.
That's much better.
So I turned the automatic volume thing off it. So maybe that was StreamYard's. They change stuff without telling you. So it could be that. Let's have a look. Let's see if that's any better for people.
It's much better for me.
Look, I think Keane's probably, if Ruben's probably the best we can hope for is a bench place. I think so. Keane's probably earned a spot playing in the 10, mate, against Wrexham. If I'm honest, if that means you stick with Ollie Tanner, I don't mind that. I'm not in a rush to drop Ollie Tanner. I get why people sort of look at him and think he's not at it or whatever, but I think he brings a lot. And I thought even today in the first half he was dangerous.
Yeah, you can do some brilliant stuff, but I don't know whether this is just his body language or his mannerisms, the way can. It just looks as if he's not interested. I might be barking up the wrong tree, but I think a couple of people have said in the chat that he looked a little bit off it today, this, that, and the other, and it was difficult out there. It was hot. I think BBM said the pitch was dry and it was slow today, so it's one of them, innit?
Yeah, and I know like there's some conspiracy theories, about Dylan like not playing because he's gonna go. He's had this issue for a while, and I know he's had this issue for a while because he was playing with a painkiller and stuff, in the games at the end of the season. All thanks to Wales duty in a nothing game. So I guess like I wouldn't be shocked if Dylan just ends up playing and he ends up doing what he did last year, where he just ends up playing through the pain a bit because we've got no other choices, and then they just take him off with sort of 20 minutes to go, depending on the game.
When we're
But
3-0 up.
yeah, absolutely, mate. We're gonna just go all balls to the wall, mate, and just score as many as we can.
Over 30,000 tickets been sold now, apparently.
Yeah, mate. I was looking yesterday. There's not many tickets left at all. We should get a couple in this week, but the problem is, or not the problem, but the thing is, I very, very much doubt that these couple which they've got coming in, I doubt one of them's a centre back. I'd be very surprised if one of them's a defender. To be honest with you, I think they're more likely to be a winger and a midfielder. If I'm honest, I don't know that, but like I'm assuming. So we'll see. We'll see how it all kind of papers out. Like if Alex is going to play in the 6 against Wrexham, I would play Joel Colwell next to him because Joel just gives you energy and legs. And I thought the one thing which Di Turnbull struggled with today was in the transition. When we lost the ball, he was unable to get back in. He did. I thought he did do some good defensive work, like winning the ball back and little interceptions, and he had some good passing. But Joel just gives you an energy in there, which David Turnbull just can't or doesn't. And against Wrexham, they're going to be bang up for it, mate, even if everyone's a bit rusty because it's first game. Like Wrexham are going to come to our place with revenge in their mind because they, make no mistake, like last year when we beat them in the Cup, that was a big game for them. They made a big deal of it. In all the build-up, you had Ryan Reynolds on Sky and all the rest of it. They tried to make it like this big Welsh derby, and then little old League One Cardiff come and done a job on them and outplayed them. So they will want revenge for that. So they ain't coming to sit back and play for a draw.
We won't be playing them in the Carabao Cup this year, but anyway.
They went out today.
Yeah, they lost last night. Swansea lost today, and Newport County lost today as well. The only
we're
Welsh
the only
team
Wales team
left
standing.
flying the flag we are, my friend.
Capital, innit?
I wanted to ask you the question as well, right? And I know, obviously, I think the club are restricted to a certain extent at ticket prices, I believe. Somebody might be able to tell me differently. I know it applies to league games. I'm not so sure about cup games. Obviously, you was at the game today with your beautiful wife, Beck. Disappointed. It's weird, isn't it? When you sat in the Ninian and you see the rest of the ground empty. What can the club be doing to get more than 6,000 fans here for a league cup game?
I think it was poorly done. Like Saturday at 3:00 for a League Cup game before the season starts is ridiculous. Anyway, they're always they're always smaller crowds, but those Tuesday is always like the first Tuesday of the season, the first round of the League Cup, and the crowd's never massive, but it's not as small as that. And I think ultimately they should be giving tickets away like to local kids clubs, whatever, to get it in. The atmosphere was shocking today, but it's also shocking because everyone's kind of mixed in together. So the people who make the noise are all mixed in with the people who don't, and all the kids, and like it's all just in together in one stand, and it's a problem, isn't it? Like at the end of the day, it's just. It wasn't great. Like it didn't sound great. The fact that all you could hear was the Swindon fans. They came up in good numbers, but like you said at the start, it's a bit of a cup final for them, isn't it? Like they've got to do better at getting tickets in for these games which are not included on the season tickets, and the games where they know there's not as much interest in the early rounds. Like you got to get people in. Do £5 a ticket. It's better to do 30,000 £5 tickets than 6,000 at a tenner or whatever, or 12 quid.
Like, surely every season ticket holder for the first, even if it's for the first league, you don't know if it's, you're going to be home really, but so I suppose it's hard. But they could have come out after and said, if you've got a season ticket, that entitles you to entry for the first league.
Of course, could.
Yeah, League Cup game.
You could you could do season tickets, or you could even say, right, if you've got a season ticket, then you'd get tickets for the League Cup half price, whatever it may be. Like, there's so many things you could do. It's a real.
But how many times have we said it over the last couple of years that they're missing a trick on things, and it's just nothing ever seems to get done about it.
And the other thing as well is they with the League Cup stuff, I always think, like, if that could have been a banging way to start the season today, if you'd had a full house and really sort of done it, but like, it was never going to sell out. It was never going to sell out. But they also, I spoke to some people on Wednesday who were sort of, they haven't got season tickets, but they go most home games. They didn't even know about it, which I get is partially on them, and they'd been away for the summer. But like, fucking hell, like, that shows you how badly it's been advertised. Just let kids go free, or season ticket holders go half price. At the end of the day, mate, like I said, you're better off sell 28,000 at £5 a pop than you are selling 6,000 at £12 a pop or whatever. It's just, and it's the atmosphere as well, I think, makes it harder for the players, because I think that would have been a really strange atmosphere for them today. Like, and I think as well, the other side of that is, if you want to get people coming back, if say you went to that game today, it's like you just went, you haven't been for a couple of years and you went back, like, you wouldn't go back because it was terrible, like, the atmosphere. But for me, it was just about getting through today. I've been saying it all week, I did not want to go out before the season started. I think that's got to be so fucking annoying to be out of the League Cup before the season's even started. Like, so just happy to get through.
And obviously, well, for me, I think the biggest thing was, I don't think there's been any injury concerns. I think he said about Gabe Osher was hurting towards the end, but he didn't have any options to kind of bring him off. But I thought we had that youngster on the bench, didn't we? Noah. So he could have taken him off, really. But I suppose, obviously, with the game as close as it was, would have been thrown him in the deep end type of thing. But fair play to him. He got through it. But hopefully, a couple of days rest now and back into training, and hopefully he'll be ready to go come Wrexham.
Yeah, I think it's one of them, mate. I tell you what I thought was good today was Yusuf Salech again. I think he's been so good in pre-season. Like, I genuinely think he's been really looking like himself. And one of the things I said I wanted to see from him was being a bit more clinical in front of goal, because I felt like sometimes he misses quite a lot of chances, but he'll get a couple, but maybe should get more. And today I thought he had that chance early on where they had like a little 1-2 in the box, and he side foots it, and it kind of just goes to the keeper. But then that second finish after the penalty it's a really tough finish on his left foot as well. Like, it's a hard finish, that is, and I think that gave him a lot of confidence. And when he went through for the third goal, I think he thought he was in, didn't he? And then it kind of the defender got back. And
the ball didn't quite sit for him today, and allowed the defender to get back. But again, fair play. He set up Moylan, and as I mentioned earlier, Moylan bust his guts together to support him.
As a good finish,
what a finish! Well. What a dream debut for him. It would have been nice for, he had a great reception when he came on. Everybody a lot of people stood up.
He lifted the crowd, didn't he? Like, the very small, quiet crowd. Like, but he like, you could tell as soon as he come on, there was a bit of a buzz. Like, so, but that's another reason. I just wonder whether they keep him on the bench for that Wrexham game because of that. Like, if it is a bit tight, having the ability to bring someone on who can change things, I think is massive. But then I suppose it'll depend. Well, if Ruben they did it last year with him, didn't they? Yeah.
A full week in training now this week, and he gets through it, injury free, and
get him on the bench.
He's not going to be 100%, is he? But a 70-80% Ruben, moment of magic coming off the bench in, the 70th, 75th minute maybe. Don't know. Be interesting. Like I said, BBM will earn his money this week. It's good problems to have, and competition in those areas is healthy competition for me. Just glad I am going to pick the team.
Yeah, we just haven't got a centre back in the 21s that's ready or that's good enough, unfortunately, which is why you're seeing, Paul
They
Marino.
might, you don't know what's going to happen now. They might have to be good enough, say. And
yeah, well, this is sometimes the thing, isn't it? Sometimes with these young players.
And I think BBM, if they are good enough and they show that commitment through the week in training and that, I don't think he looks at their age and worries about it, if I'm completely honest. And I like that, and I get what you said earlier about putting a youngster up against the likes of Kiefer Moore and what's the other striker they got, Smith, is it?
Yeah.
And it is a baptism of fire for that young man. But if BBM is confident in his ability, he's not going to worry about his age. He'll just ask him to go out and do the job that he's been doing in training against, the Cardiff players or whatever, and he'll back him 100%. And if that's the case, and we got a youngster playing in it, I would say 95% of our fan base would back him as well, and you'll always have that other lot then who were shouting and screaming, why has he picked him? But
did you see Simic and Atate play for the 21s today?
Yeah, I don't know how they got on. Any
they
idea
lost
on how?
4-0.
But I think they're going out on loan. I think a couple of loan offers have come in, which haven't suited both players. So they're just waiting for the right loan, apparently, to trying to keep them fit, ready for when that right offer does come in, if it comes in at all.
Yeah, I think Benfica's going on loan, isn't he? But if I was a Tete and Simic, I'd just want to go and play, But look, you can't.
But at the end of the day, say they've got contracts with Cardiff,
yeah,
X, Y, and Z, and they're not going to go somewhere for. Obviously, if they go out on loan, they're going to be on the same money. I don't know how the clubs work out the finances, but they're going to want to go with somewhere that's suitable for them. I don't know if that means that even their families and things, 6 months or 12 months, whatever it's going to be. It is a big call to make, really. And I know we're all shouting and screaming they need to go or whatever. But at the end of the day, they're human beings and it's got to be right for them and their families.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And I think, they got to go where it's good for them as well as they're, good for the club and whatever. But I don't think playing under 21s football in the long term for them is the answer. They need to go and play first team football. They're not going to get that at Cardiff unless one of them can play centre back. Maybe they might get a game.
What's Tete got left on a year left on his contract? Because I'm sure he signed a 2-year extension last season, didn't he? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. Somebody in the Jonathan Mordecai will tell us in the chat. I'm pretty sure he got a year left on his contract. So I don't think he's going to play first team football again unless something ridiculous happens and we lose that firepower up front that we've got. I don't know how much money he's on a week.
Even in the thought process, mate, he'd be training with the first team. Ultimately,
he has been training with the first team according to BBM and Simic. Apparently,
oh yeah, they brought him back up, didn't they, last week? And that was funny. People were saying, "Oh, it's because, they've worked hard. They're going to get a chance." It's not. It's because the PFA and the FA changed the rules last year, so you can't just chuck first team players with the kids. And I also think if you're going to try and offload people, it's probably better if they're with the first team, isn't it? But look, mate, Simic is impossible to make a real good judgment on because we haven't seen enough of him. But he also, in fairness, hasn't torn it up in the 21s. You'd think, if he's genuinely the ones who go up from the 21s to the first team over the last several years or the last few years. You can tell they're too, Robert Tankovic, even though he was 16, 17, was tearing it up in the 21s, so was ready for first team football. Same with Mafiko, same with Kean Ashford, same with Isaac Davis. They were all too good for the 21s. Joel Colwell, the same. It's just, I feel for Simic because he was brought in and immediately from day one, Errol Bullock didn't want to know, so he never ever got a look in. But then when you look at it from the other side of it, he's had, what, 4 or 5 managers now at Cardiff, and not one of them has thought, oh, he's a bit of a player, like, let's get him in the squad. So,
yeah,
it's
was it the
unfortunate.
last championship game was in Norwich away, and he was throwing all his kit and stuff into the fans
Yeah.
when he was probably haven't helped his cause really, but
Yeah,
that's an end of season thing. I would imagine lots of players do it really, but yeah, like you said, I don't think we've seen enough of him. Obviously, people see things going on behind closed doors that we don't get to see, but yeah, I know a couple of people have said this week, and I've talked to a few people, and they'd be interesting to see what he's like given a chance, but I just don't know if he's going to get that chance, mate, to be honest.
No, he's not. Let's be honest. If Salech gets injured, it's either going to be a false 9 with Moylan, or it's going to be Isaac, or it's going to be Callum Robinson. It is just the way it is. There's a hierarchy in there, and the manager likes who he likes, and I hope he. Let's be honest. If he was going to get a chance, today was probably the day, wasn't it? In the League Cup, to be on the bench or something. So I don't know. We'll see, mate. We'll see.
Another
That's
one,
an
just
interesting point there. Go on, mate. I was going
to ask you the question, just regarding about players and Callum Robinson. How were you feeling now if you were Callum Robinson?
Mate, I'm sure he wants to play more and he wants to get on the pitch and whatnot, but he knew the situation going into the summer from last year. Like, he knew that Yusuf is the number 1 choice. He knew that there was at least a chance that if Yusuf doesn't play, he might not necessarily just be automatic choice to play. So if he wasn't happy with that, if he's not happy just being part of the group and trying to work his way in, then he probably should have asked for a move at the start of the summer, And I'm of the opinion that we should bring in a striker myself, but I know some people really like Reece. Really likes Callum Robinson, and I don't not like him, but I just think we should have a better option as an alternative to Yusuf Salech. But what I do like about Callum Robinson is he's got a knack of being in the right place at the right time, and I think that's always handy off the bench. He's got to be happy with that. Last year, he worked really, really hard, not getting much minutes. Is he going to be happy to do that again this year? That's the question, isn't it? And only he can answer that, and I can't pretend to put myself in his shoes because I don't live his life. So I don't know.
Well answered, mate.
I wanted to just go to Geraint's question, comment there, right? So he says, let's hope he gets another defender in. Kapakiao, NG, Osho, Bagan are going to struggle big time in the championship with that back 4. And that's the thing, right? Individually, I'd actually think for different things, those players can be all right. Like, Osho's been good in pre-season. I've got no worries about Joe Bagan. I've got no worries about Perry NG at right back. But it's that right side, and it. Ronan looks, like I said, lacking confidence. Perry's not a centre-back, but will obviously do a job there. It is an issue. I think if you can get a centre-back, like a good championship centre-back, that you can just drop in there, and then you can move Perry to right back, it does make it look a lot better, doesn't it?
I just don't think he'll do it, depending on, obviously, I don't think he'll do it because it's not as if the players we got out injured are not massively long-term, I don't think, from what he was, if I listened to that correctly earlier. If one of them was going to be out for 6 months, then perhaps, they would. But, you bring somebody else in, we've already got 4 decent centre-backs, haven't we? I just don't think they're going to do it.
I guess it depends.
I'm just not saying that's the right decision to make, but I don't know.
You don't want to, you don't want, if Fish is out for 3 months, and someone said earlier, Chambers is out for a couple of months as well, that's quite a long time to go with NG and Osho.
You've got to look at getting somebody until January, surely on loan, haven't you?
Yeah, unless you are going to go with the kid, which is a big risk. Like I said, I think, because it sounds like they were going to try and get a left back in on loan anyway, maybe that's the answer, is you do that a bit earlier than what they were going to, get the left back in, and then you move Joel Bagan into left centre back. And I thought he did a good job there, so I'm not worried about that. But do you know, they're just still there talking about a penalty in the chat there. I was right in front of me, like, and I watched it back on the highlights earlier. Like, I don't know what a defender can do there. Like, he's so close to him, and Isaac like hits it on the half volley. It was so much power. He's so close to him. Like, I don't know what he's expected to do, because it's not like his hand is like up in the air. I get it's not by his side, but I think it's harsh. But then we didn't get a penalty all fucking year.
If it goes for you, all happy days. But if it goes against you, you're pulling your hair out. I thought it was very harsh, and I thought
it got us back in the game as well, didn't it?
It did.
It turned the game, and I think last year we only had one penalty all year, didn't we? So that's our penalty for the season now. We won't have another one for the rest of the season.
No, that's it. We've had one.
That was a good penalty by Yusuf. That was. So, look, sort of wrapping up and stuff towards the end of the show now. Like, defensively, there's definitely issues. It's weird, right? Defensively, we definitely got issues. But actually, I thought Gabe Osho was pretty good again. I thought Joel Bagan was pretty good again. The right-hand side is a bit of a problem. We've got to do something with it. I don't know what that is. BBM will come up with a plan, I guess. And maybe the answer, Jake said to me when we were talking about Jack Moylan the other day, he thinks we'll end up playing a new system with 2 10s so that we can play Ruben and Jack Moylan together. And I didn't see it. I really don't under BBM. But maybe that's how he deals with the lack of defenders, is he brings Bagan, NG and Osho together as a 3. You could have Ollie Tanner then as your sort of left wing back, I guess, or one of the youngsters, or there's a few who could do that. And then maybe you do go with like Ruben and Jack Moylan as like 2 10s off Salech. I don't know, mate. It's interesting, isn't it? Because he's going to have to do something.
We're quite blessed. We're quite blessed now in that area that we've got strength and depth in that attacking midfield area. Then, shall we say? Lots of options. Go on.
I will say, like, going into that Wrexham game, if that's our back 4, because that's the only back 4 we can pick, I would definitely like to see us. I would like to see then. I think so. To answer your question, you asked me a question about Ollie Tanner and Kean and Jack Moylan, right? If that's our back 4, I think we have to play Isaac and Kean as the wingers, and then have Joel in there with Alex Robertson as the kind of 2 4s, and then you have a 10, whether that's Jack Moylan or someone else, off Salech, because you want to give that defence as much protection as you can when the opposition's got the ball. So that's what I would do, mate, is to answer your question, because Kean and Isaac will protect their fullbacks a bit more.
Yeah,
and Joel gives you the energy in the middle, so at least you're not giving space away constantly. So Paul says, and I've been asked this question about 20 million times since the game finished, does Capacchio need games and a loan? And I'm kind of torn between it, because I see why people think it. I think he's really lacking in confidence. But I also remember how good he was at times last year. And I also thought there was times today where he did some really good stuff. He is young. And I think in the grand scheme of things, he'd probably benefit from going to play in League One again for another season and get 30, 40 games. Because I do think he just needs to play. And then,
confidence has got to be a massive thing for him, because he kind of, he's come in for a handful of games and he's back out, he's coming off the bench. And, it can be very difficult to,
Well, so ever since he played left back, when he came on and played left back last year, and he got himself in all sorts of trouble with his angles, and he had a really difficult sort of cameo at left back. Ever since then, he's looked a little bit Like 1 minute he looks really good, and then the next minute he looks like he's struggling.
And I do like him further up the field as well. I think at times, when he's got the ball at his feet and he's going forward, he's great. I think sometimes, like defensively, he struggles when somebody tries to get in and go behind him. I think he struggles there. So it'll be interesting to see. Do they play?
See,
I don't know.
I'm one of the few, mate. Like I believe that the best thing, because I think having him and Perry as your two right back options gives you like the massive benefit of it. Like you have like the sort of attacking fullback, and then you've got the more experienced fullback. But I think I'm in the minority. Like people get frustrated with it, but I just think if you want to have a side full of young players and young academy graduates, you should be sticking with them and not turning on them the first time that they have a bit of poor form. And it's literally with Ronan, it's not about ability, it's confidence. Jama says, elephant in the room, trot on his back post. It's his kryptonite. He's very weak on deep crosses, whipped in crosses. Everyone seems to be shy to admit it just because he can play out from the back. I don't give a shit if he can play out from the back, me. I am more concerned about his shot stopping. Like, I think his shot stopping's elite. I get what you mean, but like that cross today, which they scored their second goal from, sometimes you just got to give them credit. Like it was a really, really good cross, right in that space where the keeper can't come and the defenders can't touch it. And then at the back post, the guy's got a lot to do. He's got a really narrow angle and he kind of squeezes it past Osho. And I just think sometimes not everything is someone's fault. But I do agree with Jamie that there's not like a cross like that today, but when they're sort of whipped in at the back post in the air, Nathan Trott's not. It's not his favourite thing to do. But I'm not.
He makes up for it in other aspects, doesn't he? In fairness to him.
Mate.
But as an area that they need to look at and maybe address, like you said, because teams are going to be more clinical in the championship this season, and we need to make sure that all flaws are looked at really and worked on. And again, confidence is massive. Work on some set piece play and training, and just get him confident in coming out and taking those balls.
Well, and just on confidence, mate, and going back to K Pacquiao, like I believe he just needs a run of games, and I think if we didn't have the injuries that we do, he probably wouldn't get them. Whereas now, because of the injuries we've got, certainly in the short term for the next week or two, until if we bring someone in at left back or centre back, he is going to play. He is going to play against Wrexham. So he's got to play through it. And look, mate, he's got the ability. He could go and have a blinder against Wrexham, and I wouldn't be shocked at all, especially the way they play. They leave a lot of space out wide. So, yeah, I get people's concerns with him. But me personally, and I can only speak for myself at the end of the day, I'm not overly worried about it, but I'm also not ignoring that there is a bit of an issue there with him. Like, if that makes sense. I need that. I'm trying to copy something out of the comments, and I can't get it. It's doing my head in. That one.
Jonathan says, I'm guessing, I'm not sure who Wrexham played the other night, but I'm guessing it's Middlesbrough. Against Borough, Wrexham overloaded the middle and left lots of space out wide with a very low block and a 5-3-2 looking formation in attack and 5-4-1 in defence.
Yeah, I haven't seen, I will have a look this week at Wrexham's pre-season and see how they're playing and see their system, because obviously the full tactical previews will be back next weekend. But I think Wrexham, regardless of whether they beat us or we beat them or whatever next Monday, I think Wrexham are going to struggle next year. I've said that all along. I think.
Oh, you've cursed it now, haven't you?
No, mate. I've said it all summer. I do think they're going to struggle. But but as I said to you earlier, they're going to be bang up for next week, mate. And if we're as sloppy as we were at times today, we might end up paying for it. I thought we were a bit...
what we need on next Monday is an Alex Robinson or a Jack Moylan if they start, and is to go through someone the first 2 or 3 minutes and absolutely batter someone and just get the crowd up and the players up.
100%, mate.
It's what's needed. Let the fans see that there's fight in our team, and they're out there to battle and get them 3 points for us.
100%, mate. So someone said, Paul said, should Pacquiao have closed that cross down? Possibly, but like they're all told, aren't they, to keep their shape and show them down the outside. I don't disagree with it, mate. I think he could have probably been a bit more urgent. I actually think our whole defensive unit could be a bit more urgent in closing down crosses sometimes. My favourite moment in the second half was Jack Moylan stopping that shot as it dropped to that guy on the inside right of their half. Like, the guy was lining it up and he looked like he was going to, hit a sort of special shot. And Jack Moylan just slid in and just blocked it. And I just thought that's what you want to see, is that's the commitment you want to see in it, and that's the impression you want to make. I thought he was quality on the ball, mate. I really do. Every time he got the ball,
it is. Like, I know we only seen him for a short amount of time, but even that amount of time, it just it excites you, doesn't it?
He looks like he's going to do something, doesn't he?
Yeah, was he 24? I think. I'm pretty sure he's still young at 24. So, BBM now have a season with him as well, and I think he'll come on leaps and bounds as well. I think, and yeah, we can see what he's got already, and I think obviously we've seen it last year. With the Lincoln team, I think he was out injured for a while, wasn't he? And I think I see actually done with is it Jake from the Lincoln podcast?
Yeah.
There was no, he couldn't speak highly enough of him. He was out injured, come back in November, and I think they went undefeated then for the rest of the season. And he said he played a massive part in that. So hopefully we can see that kind of form in a Cardiff shirt, and things will all be hunky-dory. Let's all be open and honest. This season, we're not going to see as many wins as we did last year. It's going to be a difficult season. But, let's be confident. We've got the ability in the players, and let's hope they, just show up week in, week out for us.
Yeah, I mean, the injuries are a problem now, isn't it? Like, we've got to get these signings in. Like, and this is, my frustration is, like, I see a lot of people saying we got to back the manager. I do agree with that. I just, things take time sometimes. But we should have had players in now a couple of weeks ago. Like, we shouldn't be a week away from the first game of the season and still be waiting for like 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's the frustrating thing in it, because I think it happened a couple of seasons ago when we brought the likes of El Ghazi in, and he's not fit, and he's got to spend 2 months getting fit before he's even considered.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're going to bring people like, obviously we brought Moylan in on Wednesday, Thursday, bang, he's straight into the side for today and come off the bench and scored a worldie. But, credit to Jack Moylan as well, because obviously you've only trained once or twice, I think. So to, come straight into a team like that and have that cohesion and the ability to, pick people out and stuff is fantastic. So again, that's another strength of his, that he's able to adapt quickly. But are other players going to be like that we're bringing in as well, especially if we're bringing in youngsters, on loan to cover certain positions? Are they going to be as mature as Jack Moylan? You don't know, do you?
No, and Wrexham will be looking for the Moylans and the Colwells of this world and stuff like that. But that might be another opportunity for Keane Ashford to get a bit of space and that, because they'll overlook him. So we just got to get some signings in. I think interestingly, mate, right? It does sound like there's going to be a couple of signings this week. What positions, if you could choose those 2 positions, like what would you sign this week?
A left back and a striker, I think. Obviously, prior to what's happened today with the centre back issue, I'd have been left back and a backup for Yusuf Salech. It was a question I was going to throw back at you, really, which I'll throw back in a second. But yes, obviously slightly concerned now with Will Fish being out for 3 months. Didn't really give a time scale on Callum Chambers, and obviously no time scale on Dylan Lawler. So that is a massive concern for us. If we can use the loan market maybe and bring somebody in on loan, so we haven't got to use the transfer budget, that'd be ideal. But again, the chances of probably bringing in a youngster then from a Premier League team, I would have thought. That'll probably be the case, I would imagine. You know, it's very doubtful you're going to bring somebody in who has the experience of playing in the Championship week in, week out then on loan, I would have thought. Might be wrong. But yeah, that's kind of my answer. And the question I was going to throw back at you was, if we do look to bring in a striker for backup for Yusuf Salech, would you be looking at maybe a youngster coming up and through from a Premier League team, or would you want an out-and-out experience, somebody who's been there, done it, or you're not really bothered?
I think I'd rather go with what works with BBM. You know, I think I would go for I thought Don Ballard was the perfect alternative to Yusuf Salech. He could play up front on his own if he needed to, but he could play in different positions. But he gave us something different to Yusuf as well, and I thought that's why I just thought he was a really good balanced signing. And when you found out, when I found out he only went for 4 million or 3.5 million or whatever it was, you're thinking, should we be in for that? I get it though, they don't want to maybe spend that much money on a player who's going to.
They lost to Walsall as well the other night. Did him or did Don Ballard or that Tolage player in that game after?
Yeah, I think they both played, but I don't know that for definite, mate.
Jonathan will tell us now.
See, Simon there, right, says bring back Sorry Cabba. I just don't get it, at all. He scored some important goals for us, scored some wicked goals for us, but I didn't think he was.
Yeah, he's not a Yusuf Salech, is he? He's not. No. And credit to Yusuf Salech, who was mentioned in his post press conference, how he looks as if he's bulked up and strengthened up. He was a strong bloke anyway, but obviously with that bad injury last year, you can see that he's gone away and he's worked hard to strengthen his core, should we say? And yeah, he's going to be a pain in the ass to a lot of centre backs this season, I think.
Oh God, yeah. One thing I did like today, because everyone expects us to play out from the back, we went long a lot today because they left Yusuf 1v1 a lot, and we noticed it and we just kept going low, and I think I really liked that. I really liked it that we just no messing about, and there was, like I said earlier, there was a couple of times where Trott should have given it to Isaac on the left in the first half. He was in, there was no one in front of him. They played quite open at the back, Swindon did at times. When they had the ball, they only left, one back really on Yusuf, and I thought should be exploiting that probably a bit better. But yeah, look, it's early doors, mate. It's pre-season, basically. It's just rusty, innit?
Yeah, like you said, it's just, we're in the next round of the Cup. Did we use it as a pre-season friendly, so to speak, today? Don't think we did. I think he treated the Cup with respect, and I know other teams have obviously treated it with respect, but perhaps used it as a pre-season friendly. My thoughts were that, let's get into the second round, have a look what we got, and if it gives us an option to play some of their youngsters to give them first-team experience, great. But I'm glad that we went strong today. So, we're going into the Wrexham game, full momentum, on the back of a win. Hopefully confident, probably not as confident as they're hoping. But I think, again, going back to something I said right at the very beginning, you've got to give Swindon credit, because I thought they come out and they weren't shocking by far the imagination. I thought they'd done a decent job in upsetting us, pressing us hard. Weren't afraid to fly into challenges, scored 2 goals. And Ian Holloway team is going to do that. I think we played him last year. We only beat them 2-1, didn't we, I think?
Yeah, he was comedy gold last year, Ian Holloway was.
And he spoke very highly of Cardiff and BBM in his post-match press conference as well. I think he called us a mini Man City, I think he did. So, credit to where credit's due, but for any Swindon fans, if they did tune into this or whatever, I don't think, if your team plays like that, I think he said they've had 8 players in, it's going to take time for them to gel and that, and I think they're hoping to get a couple more in as well, but I don't think they'll have any problems in League Two this year.
Yeah, I agree with that, mate. Thought they had a couple of decent players, and it was unfortunate. I thought the kid who got sent off was a bit unlucky, like. But
Yeah, it was harsh, but
it was
better than the
it was a
Lord,
yellow card, mate. Like the second one, like he caught Keane, but just thought, like, I don't know, just felt like a pre-season friendly, didn't it? Wareham from Exeter, £1 million. I would go get him in a heartbeat, mate.
What position's he?
Striker.
The goalkeeper
He
can
was
score
he
goals
was
as well, mate.
He was the second top goal scorer behind Ballard, I think, last year in League One. I'd get him. Like, I like him. CCFC with a load of numbers said, "You doing any away days next season, Matthew?"
It all depends on my boy's football fixture thing, to be honest, because he's playing at 11:30 now most Saturdays. So it'll all depend. And obviously, with the way they do away tickets as well now, I might be struggling. So if anybody is out there that does aways regular and for whatever reason can't go one weekend, and I could use their fan ID, let us know. Be much appreciated. But we will try and do a couple. But yeah, it'll be on dependent on what Joshua's doing with his football. Because yeah, he had his toenail. He had ingrowing toenail, so you've had two of them on his big toes, both big toes. He had the one removed on Wednesday, and he played then this morning. So yeah, he probably shouldn't have, but he did. And I love the fact that he wants to go and play football. So yeah, long-winded answer, but
Can't fault you, mate. That's where I was a few years back. We're doing a couple. We're doing Middlesbrough. What else? Wrexham. Middlesbrough, Wrexham. I'm trying to think. With a couple of others. Like we just got a penciled a few in. Like we'll probably do as many as we can this year. Like, but ticket dependent, as they say.
And they brought that Middlesbrough one forward as well, I'm pretty sure, haven't they, to a 12:30 kickoff, which is a nightmare for fans, isn't it?
No, yeah. Well, I think me and Becky are going to go up Friday night, I think, and have a bit of dinner with my good friend, and stay in a hotel and then go up there, like, so make a weekend of it. We don't get enough of them all together, like, so be nice. Jamie makes a good point, and we'll finish on this, mate. He said, today could have been a real banana skin, and especially when you look at all the other Welsh clubs done, and look how many big teams went out this weekend. Swindon looked okay, to be fair to them. They lost, but they'll be positive in their own season ahead. I think the only reason I think I'm a bit more nervous now is because of the centre-back injuries. If Fish and Osho were fit going into next Monday, I'd be all right, I think. It's just the centre-back situation which has made me a little bit nervous. The board have got to get it going now. They've got to get the business done. They've got to get these two which are close done, and then they got to go get a centre-back or a defender on loan or whatever they're going to do, but they've got to come up with a solution, and they've got to come up with it fast. So
yeah, 100%, but
that lad, the guy they got in from Swansea, Dom Newton, he's about to earn his money big time in the next week, I think, because if I'm BBM, I'm knocking on their door tomorrow morning and saying, right, look, we cannot go into the season with one fit centre-back.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what conversation he has with Vincent Tan or the powers that be, because I think he normally speaks not regular, but I think they normally have
hopefully that bromance is budding, mate, isn't it? They got a little bromance going on, and that's only good for us, because that means that the people who have time and time again, let's say, not done enough good stuff, they might get sort of cut out of the equation.
Get to bed.
Oh well. Emilia, don't listen to him. Stay up all night. Have all the sweets you want. Watch a couple of films. Chill out. Your dad just said go help yourself to a pack of crisps as well.
Oh, happy days.
Yeah. So I'll be back in the morning with 5 things. Back tomorrow night with the breakdown. As always, it's a pleasure. And look, we always try and be balanced, innit? And I think I understand why people are worried, but also there was some good stuff today. Like, we scored some good goals. Jack Moylan looked sick. Kean Ashford continues to look very good. Chris Willock looked really, really good off the bench. And Alex Robertson, I don't care what anyone says, making that number 6 his own. Like, he's looking real good. So, you know,
the thing, just as we're finishing, but that number 6 position now, it doesn't give you any major concerns at the moment. Given obviously bringing Jack Moylan in, I wouldn't be devastated if we didn't bring a 6 in now in this transfer window. There's other areas now that.
See, I'm not as like I really believe Alex Robertson's quality number 6, but I do think we lack a certain type of midfielder, like just a tall, physical, just eats up ground and just kind of really physical and aggressive. I would like to see someone like that, even if they're technically not as good as some of our other midfielders. I just think it's a profile that we lack. Someone like Olifinjana, or like, you know, these types of players who just did a job. Like, but I have it on very, very good authority from people who have worked with him and know him and stuff. Brian Barry Murphy does not believe in destroyers. Like, he's all about footballers and technical ability and the rest of it. So I'm not expecting it, but that's not to say I'm not we might still sign a 6. It just might not be the type of 6 that everyone's expecting. We shall see, mate. Hopefully they get these 2 over the line now, because maybe my DMs will stop going insane. And also, like, we need to get moving, don't we? Like, I want a couple of signings in by Monday to give us some positivity going into the game. I think we can beat Wrexham, mate, but we're going to have to do it with 1 centre-back. Matthew, as always, thank you so much. I'm sure you'll be back at some point next week. I'll be back tomorrow. Look after yourselves. The schedule might be a bit all over the shop. It'll be the normal schedule next week, but it might be like slightly different times, that's all, because I'm moving house, so it'll be what it'll be. Anyway, I'm surprised. Oh, that's one thing, mate. I'm surprised that Eli King didn't get any minutes today. I thought he might get 10 or 15 at the end, because if Alex Robertson gets a knock, we haven't got a 6. And because Eli's not ready to play yet, like from a start sort of thing. So I was surprised.
No, I suppose it was one of them games. It was so nip-tuck come the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit probably closer than they wanted, but yeah, we go. Right, anyway, we'll be back tomorrow to discuss it all and more. Hopefully, we'll have a signing announced tomorrow. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I can't see them doing it on a Sunday. Yeah, why not? I saw some teams announce some players today. Why can't we announce it on a Sunday? I don't think we will.
Everybody's in church on Sunday, man.
Yeah, no, I'm going in the morning. I don't think we will, but you know, a man can dream. Alright, keep the faith. See you in a bit. Nice one.
Rascal Beats.
For your Caesar, Cardiff City, ride with me for your Caesar.